What's up guys, it's Jacob, your personal rank 1 healer again today, and I'm just going to be showing you a Resto Shaman TSG 3v3 session that I played yesterday with two of my boys. It's about 2200 MMR. It's like my first probably actual kind of decent session on my Shaman so far in Shadowlands. I'm just at 219 eye level, about to be ready to start cranking out some more content on this guy with some real games at high rating. And this is just kind of a preview sesh, 22 MMR, probably get like 6 or 7 games in for you. But anyway, I'm just going to commentate what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about, and show you what talents I'm playing before each game. So let's get into it. Alright. Okay, so we will be playing that double melee TSG, warrior with a death knight and a Resto Shaman. We'll be playing against the Windwalker Mage H-Pal on the other side. So right now I just have my Riptides up, I've got my mana shield up, I have an earth shield on my warrior. I'm not really sure who they're planning on going yet at this point. We get double DB'd, but as you can see, I'll just play that back for you. Sorry. Okay, so whenever they root both of us right here, me and my warrior, my first insta dispel on the warrior's root, and this is really important to be quick with this because if I didn't, he might not be able to stop this incoming DB sheep on me. He is really quick, so he was going to Blade Storm it, which he didn't even have to do. But he was able to stop the sheep because he wasn't rooted. Anyway, they disarmed my DK there. I switched the Earth Shield over to him. I dropped my Earthen down. They're popping Combust, as I see here and here. There's a meteor damage coming in. I have the Earthen down. I'm just going to drop a grounding totem, and then I'm going to purge off the Mage's Combust. I get it off. My DK grips in. They AoE stun everything. I drop a cap totem off of the AoE stun just to keep them all stunned right there while my DK is chill streaking. The chill streak is the really big go that bounces between targets if they're next to each other. So right here I use the Ascendance, which I probably didn't have to do. But anyway, we force the ice block. We get wings from the paladin. The paladin uses his divine favor, which I purged off right there. Now he uses his aura mastery to try to get some casts off while my melee are on him. I frost shocked the mage over there just to kind of slow him, help my DPS get to him, although my DK does have chains of ice. I get Hodge there. I trinket out because they just have a lot of pressure. I use my aura mastery. I kicked the Ashen Hollow on the paladin there. He's gonna go for another one. Right here they have that huge AoE on the ground. We really don't want to be standing in it. It does a lot of damage. I didn't have Wind Shear for the mage on these polymorphs there, so I was hoping my DPS could kick it. I used my Wind Shear and missed, but it's okay because I'm in this red area right here, so it'll just break the polymorph on me. So if you notice that there's ever AoE on the ground, like an Ashen Hollow or a meteor, then you could stand in the AoE before a polymorph or a Ring of Frost or a freezing trap or something like that hits you, and it will break you out of the CC. So we get Bop on the mage. I purged it off instantly. You probably didn't even see it there. But I do have Wind Shear available, and I don't think that I'm quick enough to notice that I could have kicked the pally. Oh, actually, I purged the Bop there like a second later. I just go in and I go in and I Spirit Link my DPS because I know that this paladin has Hodge up, most likely in that situation. So if I get Hodged before I Spirit Link to my teammates, they probably would have died. And I know it says that the Hodge is 12 seconds left on cooldown, but paladins do play a talent that makes it to where their Hodges come back up before the Omnibar tooltip would say that it's up. About 10 to 20 seconds quicker. So here the mage has Counter Strike. I tried using grounding, I believe, to get a cast off there. We're just trying to stay on the mage. I'm trying to avoid CC as much as possible. I fake a CS there. My DK grips in their healer. They do a chill streak go. I hex the healer just to mess with him. I purged his Aura Master heal off, Divine Favor, and then I sheared him. He's in a lot of trouble right now. He does have his wall up, but he's forced to bubble. I get in a cheeky lava burst on the mage. We proc his Cauterize and the sack. They stun me. I have no trinket. I have no earth shield to myself. They use combust. But thankfully we know that this is coming, so I call for AMZ on myself. So I have anti-magic zone protecting me, but I also use my wall, which is astral shift, I believe, because the Windwalker is also popping his cooldowns on me, so I want to stay healthy. We have a ton of pressure right here. I was just going to cast to top my team, but the mage blinks around the corner, so I stopped casting. I dropped a grounding totem to try to get the counter spell and get a cast off, but they're just so dead here that it doesn't matter, and we get the kill. So this is a 2200 Windwalker Mage game. I'll be showing you a lot more games, so we'll move on to the next. This Windwalker's just cheeky. Wants to stay in. There you go. Alright, on to the next game. Okay, these are my talent choices for this next game. We're going to be going against the Warrior Mage Holy Paladin. Grounding Totem is very useful here. Aura Mastery is also very useful. Debatably, I could be using Sky Fury Totem to help boost my Death Knight's Chill Streak damage, or even his Obliterate damage or whatever, so maybe I will switch to that. I'm not sure. I do end up taking the Sky Fury, it appears. So I will be trying to boost my Death Knight's Chill Streaks whenever he grips in the healer into one of the DPS. So that way it will boost his Chill Streak, it'll bounce between both people, and if it crits, then it'll do a ton of damage. Assuming I time the Sky Fury right. So here I just slow up the warrior with one of my totems. I'm staying max range. I went to dispel my warrior's root, but he blade stormed out of it. The mage blinks, tries to DB me, but misses. I instantly sheared his polymorph. I dropped an earthen totem there. I grounding because the mage is combusting. I try to purge the combust off. I popped Ascendance. Might not have had to, but I get the mage's combust off. I use my Ascendance. I'm trying not to use any other cooldowns with my Ascendance. Just use that to stabilize. We force the ice block. I just root both of the Pally and the warrior together. Drop a cap totem to try to force some more pressure. The Pally ends up having to bubble. So right now my DPS are pushing in. I fake the CS from the mage there. I get that out of the way. I kick the mage on the polymorph. I'm going to try to purge this bop off of him. I get the bop off, dispel my DK out of the polymorph. The warrior leaps at me and tries to fear me. He does get it because I'm too slow to Tremor Totem it. I could have pre-tremmered it if I was ready for it, which I should have been. I line the poly just in case, but my warrior kicks it. I purge the warrior's freedom off because I want to be able to root him so that he can't do anything. So I root him there. He's not able to play the game for a second. I hex the Pally just to see if this mage dispels. Sometimes you just don't know. And it doesn't really hurt us to get it, so might as well. I tried grounding Hodge there because the warrior was chasing me and I was running into the paladin, so I would try to get the stun out of the way by grounding the Hodge, but I didn't get it. I run the warrior across just so that my DK can get a Chains of Ice on him so that I can get around the corner. And then we double stun grip the Pally and the mage, we do a Chill Streak, and they just go down. So that Chill Streak go is extremely powerful. TSG revolves around that go over and over again every game. You just grip two people together, you stun them both, you make your Chill Streak bounce, and I'm just going to try to keep my team alive while they do that go over and over again. But anyway, I'm going to move on to the next game. Alright guys, so these are my talents for this next game. I'm going to be playing Grounding Totem for Boomkin Incarn damage, or maybe for a Root Beam, or for a Hodge on the Paladin or something. I'm playing Aura Mastery to try to Aura Mastery Root Beams, Ancestral Gift. If I press it before the Root Beam hits me, then I immune the Root Beam, and I can dispel myself out of the root and then keep healing my team. I'm going to play Sky Fury to boost my DK's Chill Streak goes, and my healing as well. And everything else is pretty standard. So here we go. First things first, I should have Mana Shield on myself, but I forget, I believe. This is still something that I mess up from time to time, as I'm kind of a noob on Shaman still, this expansion. But anyway, we're just waiting for this Boomkin to come out of stealth. The priest is drinking here, so really big stuff going on. So I use my Earth Ellie just to get it out the way. Just put it on somebody maybe. It's not really a big help on damage, but it does give me a heal or a max stam boost. The Boomkin comes out of stealth with his his roar. He tries to get a clone, but we stop it. I use Grounding Totem to try to get either Root Beam or the Hodge from the Paladin there. We do our grip go. I drop a capstun to help him. I forget to Sky Fury. I should definitely have Sky Fury there. I kicked the healer, and then I popped Ascendance to keep my team alive. The Boomkin's Convoking, so we're kind of scared of that. I don't have Grounding Totem, but I did use Aura Mastery in case of Root Beam to try to keep my team offensive. My DK AMZ'd there, Anti-Magic Zone, to also stay alive from the Incarn damage and the Ret Wings. I need to keep my Earth Shield up on the Warrior. I'm just kind of keeping him alive. We get a triple fear there on the DPS and the healer. I drop a Grounding Totem to try to get the Root Beam from the Boomkin, but he still has not pressed it. Using Healing Surge to keep my team alive. I get Root Beamed here finally. They Hodge up my DK. He IBFs to stay offensive. The other team is using their Dark Arc as well as Power Infusion, I believe. Just using my heals to stabilize. I could be kicking the priest here. If I was paying better attention, I could have also weaved in a wind shear on the healer. They don't have Root Beam anymore, so I'm not really too scared of getting kicked, which is nice. I'm just going to be dragging them out of position if the Boomkin wants to push in on me for any reason. I always drag them back. I want to keep my Flame Shocks up, use my Lava Burst procs whenever I feel safe enough to use the offensive globals. Getting some more Lava Bursts out on that Paladin. Do about 10k plus damage there. Get some more Lava Bursts on the Boomkin. We do a grip go. He bops the Boomkin. I'm trying to purge the bop off. I get the bop. The Boomkin does still have Bark Skin up. I tried wind shearing the clone. I missed it, so I dropped a Grounding Totem to get the next clone. I line of sight. He's trying to push in to CC me, but I'm just always dragging him back, making it really hard for him, especially with my Warrior and my Death Knight on him. We have double Mortal Strike up on both of the DPS. I trinket out of that Root Beam because they pop their Dark Arc, and I'm going to be in CC for a long time. I know my DK doesn't have IBF. We're just staying offensive. I got a Hex there on the healer while the Boomkin is taking considerable damage, which means that the Boomkin would have had to come out of bear form to dispel my priest, which if he did, it would just make it to where we have more pressure, doing more damage for those two globals where he comes out of form, uses the dispel, and has to go back into the form. Anyway, the priest trinketed it. We get a full fear. The Boomkin's still in trouble. I ground the Hodge there. The Paladin tried to Hammer of Justice me. I grounded it. We forced the barrier on the priest, or on the Boomkin from the priest. I have no wind shear to force more pressure. I believe I used it already. I get a Lava Burst. I'm trying to purge the shields off of the Boomkin while he's low because I see some shields coming out on him with Rapture. We swap to the priest. I get a Flame Shock on him, and I throw a Lava Burst in to help get the kill. And he goes down. They're trying to do a last-ditch effort, Convoke with Ret Wings on us, but we have Anti-Magic Zone, and we're safe. Anyway, we did queue into a lot of these Boomkin melee teams recently, so we got a lot of practice versus that in that session. That's a 2200 team once again, and we're going to move on to the next game. Alright, so this game I'm going to be playing the same talents as before, I believe. Grounding Totem for possibly getting Freezing Trap, Mind Games, or Hodge from the other team. I'm going to play Aura Mastery to avoid kicks whenever I feel like I need it, or like versus the Hunter counter shot or the Ret Paladin. If I'm in a dire situation and need to get some casts out, then I'm going to play Sky Fury for my DK's Chill Streaks once again, and everything else is again standard. But anyway, I'm going to want to keep my Earth Shield up on someone coming out of the gates. I'm going to want my Mana Shield up. I'm going to want to get my Riptides up on my DK and my Warrior, as I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be a target versus this team. I can slow them up with my Stonebind Totem, or Earthbind Totem. I drop an Earthen in the middle. I get my Flame Shock out. I purge the Ret Paladin Freedom off here. Just got my Flame Shocks up. Okay, so we do a grip go. I'm going to try to root them together to just when the DK or the Ret Paladin trinkets. I'm going to drop a capstun to try to keep them next to each other for the chill streak to continue. I'll drop my Sky Fury totem to get the chill streak boosted. I try to ground the freezing trap on myself. I dispel my own root. I'm just trying to kind of juke out this hunter right here. Move unpredictably. I get the freezing trap. He ended up missing it because I did a hard turn. This hunter's still trying to come stand on me to harass me. He scatter traps me. My DK ate the freezing trap from before there. I'm just going to be using my Ascendance to keep up my DK on this crazy go. There's a lot of damage. They try switching to me, but I hold onto my wall. I kick the Mind Games there. My DK drops to 1 health. My reaction here should have been to just Riptide him and maybe Aura Mastery top him, but I tried to link, and it was just a really bad link. I just trolled really bad there. I did not need to link, and even if I did link, then I should have done it better. But anyway, I grounded his freezing trap there. He was running at me, and I used my grounding totem to immune that trap. I'm just going to be running around the back. I pre-trimmered the sphere on myself, baited it out by running into him. I used my Sky Fury totem because my DK gripped the healer in for the go. I see the bop on the Ret Paladin. I'm going to be trying to purge that off as soon as I can. I get the bop off so that my team can still go offensive. I kick the... Oh, I should kick next heal. My DK kicked him there. I still have my kick. I interrupt the Mind Games with my Wind Shear. I can just stand in there because I know that the hunter doesn't really have trap for like a second. I have my Earthen Totem on everybody to keep us kind of safe. I'm using my Mana Tide Totem because I can early on in the game. Once you start losing some of your mana, you want to use your Mana Tide Totem. I want to make sure my mana shield's still up. It is. So we're still healthy on mana. I get freezing trapped. I have Earthen down, so my DK is sitting in the edge of it to stay safe. I have my Wind Shear available. I use my Aura Mastery to use mobility to get a Hex on the hunter, but he knocks me, so I just fake his kick at the end of my Aura Mastery. I get DR scattered. I dispel the Mind Games off my warrior, and I just go for the Hex on the healer because I know I can. We force the trinket out of the Hex, or with the Hex. We do a grip go on the healer as soon as he trinkets. Everyone's stacked on top of each other. I drop my Sky Fury once again to boost my DK's damage. Just pumping out that dam. My DK gets out of that fear, and we kill the priest. So that's a really fast-paced game, 22-20 MMR versus Ret Hunter. I feel like my Marks Hunter games, where I'm going against the Marks Hunter, just feel like there's so much random burst that comes in. But it's really fun to play against because I have Grounding Totem and ways to try to avoid their CC. I can ground a Hodge, I can ground a trap, I can Trimmer a Fear, as you see. I don't have my Fleshcraft yet on this guy to immune CC. I'm level 28 renown out of 30, so I don't yet have that on my Shaman. I will soon, probably in the next video. So I could immune even more CC potentially, but anyways, I'm going to move on to the next game. So as you can see versus this Windwalker Mage team, I'm going to be using the same talents over and over again. I'm going to play Grounding, Aura Mastery, Sky Fury. It just seems to be a really good fit for our comp into a lot of different comps. The only time I would play a different talent would probably be dropping Sky Fury for Spectral Recovery if I know that a team's probably going to train me and I just need that extra mobility. But anyway, going into the arena, got my Earth Shield on the Warrior, get a Riptide up. I'm going to slow the healer just to kind of mess with them. I get kicked. It's really bad for me to do what I did. I just gave them a free CS. They use their Combust. My Warrior has to Trinket parry there. Just trying to keep my team alive. I use my Orc Racial just for a little bit of extra healing. I use my Aura Mastery healing. I still have an interrupt available. We end up forcing block with a grip on the healer into a chill streak go. I didn't Sky Fury because I wasn't ready for it. I just wasn't paying good enough attention. Their Paladin uses Ashen Hollow here. So I'm just going to use my Earthen here because it's one of the only times I know that my team's actually going to sit in the Earthen Totem. Probably not the best Earthen. But anyway, I purged off some of the mage shields there before my DPS go back in, just so that the mage is clear of some damage reduction, so they can just instantly start doing damage when they go in. They don't have to go through those shields. We grip in the pally for another go. I do have Sky Fury available. Not sure if I use it here. I root them all together. I kick the mage on Polymorph. I purge the bop off of him just to keep my team going. It doesn't look like I did use my Sky Fury, which I should have done. Just something that I'll get more used to doing as time goes on. I do have Lava Burst procs because I had my Flame Shock up. My Warrior forced Bubble on the Pally while he had Sack on the Mage. I can get out some Lava Burst here. Just keeping my team up. It looks like they're doing some burst. I can root the images from the Windwalker here. So I root the images, so it stops a lot of his damage. I kicked the Paladin there, and he just dies. We did a Swaparooski to him. He already bubbled, so he was very vulnerable. So if we get a Wind Shear on him during a grip go, then he should fall over. It's another 22-20 game versus Windwalker Mage, and I'm still going to show you guys probably a few more games, one versus Rogue Mage and another versus Windwalker DH, so we're going to move on to those. Okay, so I will be using the same talents once again versus Rogue Mage. Nothing crazy here, just the same old stuff. So I'm just going to move on to the game. Alright, so I've got my Riptides up, I got my Earth Shield on the Warrior. I use my Earth Elemental because the conduit that I use increases my max stam by a ton. Look, I have 46,000 health, making it very undesirable for them to try to kill me because my health pool is so big. So I just use that versus Rogue Mage in the opener almost every single time, just to deter them from opening on me. We get the Rogue out of stealth. I got a Flame Shock on him. The Mage comes out with double DB, tries to Ring of Frost us. He gets the double ring. That means that we know that it's going to be my Death Knight that really needs to use cooldowns because I don't want to trinket before blind. My Warrior wants to be able to save his trinket for something later. So my DK instantly trinkets out of the stun. He probably should have IBF'd, but maybe not. He trinkets, he uses his AMS, he uses Anti-Magic Zone because of the Mage Combust. So he stays alive, he manages to save his IBF for the next go, potentially. He does a grip go on the Priest to the DPS to try to counter pressure the other team, which is really, really good. You always want to try to do this. If another team's doing their go, then you can possibly do your go to scare them off or just to get counter pressure, which in WoW, the best defense is a good offense a lot of the time. So that's just one of the tactics he used there. I get dueled by the Rogue here, so I'm still able to heal my Death Knight with AoE healing, so I used my Healing Tide Totem and my Ascendance to keep him up. I might not have had to, but anyway I did. Just going to top him up there. I have my Wind Shear available. I trinket out of this blind and I kick the Polymorph. I get a Lava Burst on the Mage. I get cheap shotted into another Polymorph. I can't really do much about that. But anyway, my DK is still kind of in trouble. My Warrior fears the DPS, but it breaks instantly. Just going to keep Lava Bursting when I can, if I can. Sky Fury was down because I thought my DK was going to do a go potentially or something. I just noticed that my Sky Fury is down. I'm line of sighting this Poly, but also spamming Wind Shear in case he blinks around the corner. I dispel that Polymorph. We stun the Mage. We do a grip go. I root them together, try to drop a cap stun, get a Lava Burst in, dispel my DK out of the root. I do have Wind Shear coming up in a second. I pre-earthened this go onto my DPS just in case because I knew it was coming. So my Warrior got MC'd there, and you're able to press Purge. You can use your offensive Purge on your own teammates for MC, Mind Control, to get your teammates out of Mind Control instantly. So what I did was I instantly got him out of his MC. I move out of the ring, I kick the Poly, I dispel my Warrior's root. I Grounding Totem to try to get a cast off, considering the Rogue doesn't have kick and the Mage does have CS. So if I want to get a cast off, I either have to Aura Master or Grounding Totem. So I use the Grounding Totem for the counter spell. My DK gets MC'd. I try to purge it, but the Priest canceled it anyway since we were getting so much pressure on the Mage. We force Ice Block and Barrier there. So the double overlap on defensives there. I try to Hex the Priest just to mess with him. The Mage does get kicked on Arcane, so he's unable to dispel his Priest for a second or two. Dispel my Warrior out of the root. The Mage dispels the Priest out of the Hex, and we just kill the Mage because we have so much pressure. So the mage goes down in that situation. Okay, so for this game versus the Windwalker DH, I'm playing Sky Fury with the setup, but I probably should be playing Spectral Recovery because they do end up training me down to the ground, or they try to at least. But anyway, I'd probably drop the Sky Fury for Spectral Recovery in retrospect. But anyway, I am Sky Fury this game. The rest of the talents are the same. I'm just going to put the Shaman on my focus just so that I can watch him. See his buffs, see his casts. I get my Riptides up, I slow the DH as I see they're trying to run in. I root the Windwalker on his Serpent Kick, switch the Earth Shield to myself. Tried to pre-earthen the stun, but I didn't get it off in time, so I'm just earthening now. I used my wall with my earthen because I played this team previously and they absolutely did the most damage to me ever. I dropped a capstone on him. I get hunted here, but I just use I just end up using my Orc Racial. I don't use my Ascendance. I'm trying to hold on to some cooldowns. I use my Aura Mastery to run around the corner. I even use my Sky Fury just to get bigger heals out, which also helps my DK do damage, but I root them on the other side of the pillar. It was really big that I rooted them there because, I'll rewind it for you. So if you can see the Tiger is rooted here. The DH is rooted on the other side of the pillar. He can't get dispelled from the Shaman. So something you want to do is run melee DPS if they're training you behind pillars, and then use your entangling roots, your root totem on them, whatever the fuck it's called, entangling root totem, and get them stuck behind the pillar, and yeah. So his Tiger, which is a huge cooldown, is rooted. The Demon Hunter ends up just trinketing out of the root. I could have kicked a Healing Surge there, but I didn't. My DK, me and him were having line of sight issues here at the end. So they end up getting a lot of pressure from that. The DH sees this, he incaps me. He goes to switch to my Death Knight. My Death Knight's really low. I still have my Wind Shear available, but he has to grip the Shaman because the Shaman was trying to hex me. So anyway, I run in, I pop my Ascendance, I switch my Earth Shield to him, I just use my Spirit Link to keep him up. I kick the healer on Chain Heal, just trying to keep my team alive so that they can get some pressure. Sky Fury down, I'm not really sure why, but I used it there, maybe to do damage. Anyway, just getting my Flame Shocks out so that I can Lava Burst, get some extra damage. I need to switch Earth Shield to myself immediately before I get in trouble. We do a Grip Go on their healer, so that way we're starting to force reverse pressure. Once again, the best defense is a good offense a lot of the time. They use Darkness here, but my Warriors just Bladestorming on all three of them. They have Mortal Strike, just stopping them from getting healed by that healer's Healing Tide Totem. Switch the Earth Shield to my DK. This DH looks like he wants to hit me, maybe to avoid some cleave from my team. He uses Blur, so he's kind of safe here for a second with that defensive Blur up. Line of sighting, I use Grounding Totem to avoid getting kicked. I just top myself with Healing Surge. Using this pillar to line of sight, we do a Grip Go again on the healer. I root everything together into a capstun. I Flame Shock the Windwalker in hopes of getting some more damage. I fake the Shaman on his Wind Shear. I noticed that the DH was still in the air coming down, so I went for a Hex on the healer after faking his Wind Shear. The Windwalker pops Karma, but I believe we can go through it, so I'm Lava Bursting into it, trying to bring him down. My DK stuns the healer DR off of the Hex. Then the healer comes out of the stun and gets full feared. The Demon Hunter gets feared as well. No trinket on either one of them. Stormbolt onto the Windwalker. The Windwalker goes down. And that's the game. So yeah, for trying to fake Wind Shear from the Shaman there, getting the Hex definitely helps us get the kill. I didn't play that game very well up until that point, I would say. I played it alright, but definitely a lot of mistakes that game. Anyway, 22 plus MMR, first session of the season pretty much, actual threes with decent gear, not too bad, but I will be trying to show you guys some much higher rated threes in the future, maybe with like Ret Warrior or something, more strong than TSG. I want to try to get rank 1 on Shaman, not really sure, but I'm going to try my best. I think it's doable, just got to put the games in. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Follow my stream if you want to see these games played live. If you want to watch more content on Shaman or any of the other healers, I have plenty more. Just go to my stream, go to my YouTube channel. There's condensed games in the playlist. So if you go to the playlist section, you can see whatever type of healer games you want to see. My stream does have a lot of VODs available if you want to go to my past recorded games. So follow me there at JacobXTV on Twitch. Definitely go to JacobXTV on Twitch and follow me, please. Anyway, I hope all of you guys are having a great night or a day wherever you are. I love you all. Take it easy and peace.